All right, we are live.
Here we go with episode 22. It is good to be alive. It is good to be host Chuck B. My Eagles are first, man. They are dominating.
Man, I'll say this. Congratulations. You deserve it.
You guys can't see me who are listening, but I'm wearing a brand new Carson Wentz shirt. And
You texted me that, and I was just like, I almost took a picture of the trash can and sent it back to you, and I was like, is this what we're doing?
Can I say that a little special moment, I had, because me and John went to the draft, and we got this like package, like a reward package kind of, because we got inside to the draft on day 2.
Oh,
and
it's wonderful.
in our package, the rewards was NFL cards, which is such a throwback to being a kid. And in my pack was Carson Wentz, and I still got the card, and my dude is panned out, and it's good. It's good to be a fan.
I like that you're talking about our packages on here. That's wonderful. And man, I kind of miss, my 9-year-old. I buy him football cards all the time, and he doesn't really know who they are, but we talk through it, and I try to teach him. But man, there's just something about seeing that football card. I get crazy excited.
You should try Pogs. But anyways, all right. So John's got just something on his mind. He wants to talk about it.
So I got a series of questions, and these all have to deal. So let me ask this. This is my first question.
Okay.
Before Week 11 started, can you guess what playoff seed the Buffalo Bills were?
I'm gonna say
6 teams to make the playoffs. Just take a guess.
Yeah, I'd say 4 through 6, somewhere in there.
4 through 6 is correct. They were the 5th seed.
Okay.
Going into the week. So they were a playoff caliber team, which is just wonderful. Now, how many wins did the Bills have to get this, if you take a guess?
To get into the AFC playoff picture?
Yeah, how many wins did they have before Week 11?
I'm going to say 6.
They had 5 wins. They had 5 wins,
okay,
which is awesome. Now, who's the starting quarterback or was the starting quarterback for the Buffalo Bills?
Tyrod Taylor.
Tyrod Taylor. Guess what number he is?
He's number 5.
He's number 5. Very good. Now, they decided to bench this guy, the starting quarterback that has only had 3 interceptions the entire year, for a new guy by the name of Nathan Peterman, right? Guess what round he was drafted in?
In the 5th round.
5th round. You're seeing a trend here, right?
Wow.
Guess how many interceptions Nathan Peterman threw?
He threw 5.
He threw 5? And guess how many losses the Buffalo Bills have now?
5?
I'm almost done with this. And this is where it gets crazy, because the worst football game that has been played by a quarterback since 1991, they switch quarterbacks. Tyrod Taylor goes in, has a great game, put up 17 points fantasy-wise in one half. Now, here's what's the worst and craziest thing about the whole thing. Sean McDermott still has not said who is going to be the starter for the next week's game. He is still pondering putting in this 5-interception halftime guy, Nathan Peterman. Now, he is projected to make this decision tomorrow. Guess how many days before their game?
5.
Full circle. I feel like I should win a writing award. Everything that happens after this podcast, I don't really care about. I'm accomplished.
John, guess what month he was born?
Is it May?
It's May, dude. It's May, bro.
Full circle. We have gone Jim Carrey, the number 23. You're welcome, fantasy football world, for all of that just happened.
Oh my God, dude.
Mind blown.
No, seriously, like I'm having a tough time right now. I'm having a real tough time. Okay.
It's a good day. All right. Having said all those crazy things, let's get into some wonderful fantasy football news.
5 fantasy football things. All right. So let's just go down the list of kind of, big deal things that are going to impact the rest of the season. By the way, if you're hanging in with us, either your team is horrible and you're just an awesome fan and That's cool. Or you're in the middle of the pack and you're like, dude, I need some waiver wire. I need some, some explanation. Or you're at the top of the pack and you're just trying to figure a way to stay there. So thanks for hanging in with us, and I hope we're going to help you out. So let's start with Chris Thompson. Breaks his leg.
Man, it was such a crappy play. Kirk Cousins was scrambling and doing everything he can. Kirk Cousins is balling out, by the way. Definitely a top 5 quarterback and top 5 asset moving forward in the quarterback position. But he just dove fighting for extra yards, and the guy he dove into rolled up on Chris Thompson and just snapped his leg. It was a complete break of his fibula, and so it's not even something like he's having surgery tomorrow. Like, it is a complete break. So they're going to have to put in some screws. Like, he's completely done for the year. And it sucks because he was the number 9 overall running back in fantasy, somebody that, he was going in the 10th, 11th, 12th round, undrafted in certain leagues, and just completely showed out. So this is huge, and it's got so many implications for this team. Samaje Perine, man, he's a borderline number 1 running back now because Rob Kelly's already on the IR, and now you got him gone. The next running back in their roster they just stole from you guys, and you probably know a little bit about him. This is a deep league play, and that's Byron Marshall. So what do you got on him? You know more about him than I do.
What I know is that we hated to give him up, and we hated that he was even on the practice squad. I remember that our GM, they would just light up when they talked about him. He's a kid who understands the game in terms of like how to use the blocks in front of him and these kind of things. And he's a burner too. Only issue was fumbles. He had like, I want to say, a few fumbles in camp that kind of just made him a question mark and kind of edged him out.
So you're talking, you got the 2 most fumbling guys in the NFL, Samaje Perine, now Byron Marshall going over. Man, y'all's running back depth for the Eagles is second to none.
Yeah.
And you guys have like 7 running backs. Not to mention you lost Smallwood, you lost Darren Sproles. You had those guys into the mix. You had like 7 running backs.
Yeah, and Smallwood's back, but we just sat him. We didn't even play him. Hey, but real quick, back to Chris Thompson though. But this is a Florida State guy who had really quite an extensive injury history. So is this a guy you can trust?
So a snapped fibula is somebody put this on Twitter and they're like, oh, he's so injury prone. If you snap your leg in half, that's not injury prone. Injury prone is, soft tissue, my ankle's always acting up. Jordan Reed, my knee's always acting up. This is nothing. He might be injury prone, but this injury has nothing to do with that. This is you snap your leg. I don't give a shit if you're Adrian Peterson or whoever. Like, there's nothing you can do to prevent that. That's a freak accident. This is not injury-prone issue. He might be injury-prone, but this was not one of those issues.
Here's another big one. Robert Woods. This has a big implication.
Gosh, how crazy is it to say Robert Woods is a big issue? But the dude has just been killing it lately. I mean, Robert Woods, he's the number 13 wide receiver right now, and an absolute must start in all situations if he is playing. Now, if he is out, you shoot through the roof Cooper Kupp, not Sammy Watkins. We know they don't want to throw to him, but Cooper Kupp is now a must add and a must play in all formats if he's going to be out. They said he's going to miss a couple weeks. His shoulder, he was in a sling at the end of the game. Kind of like the whole team, man. The Rams, they got taken to the woodshed.
Yeah.
The Vikings are for real.
They are, and I called it, though, because I know that Mike Zimmer's been waiting again to get to this overhyped offense. I think they're a great offense, but that defense is sickening, man.
The fighting Case Keenums.
That's right. So next up is Kelvin Benjamin. I mean, God, what just a weird year for this guy.
Up and down, up and down, up and down. He gets carted off the field, and it looks like it's done right at – and, man, if you started him, I love that. I would have started him if I had him. I don't have him in any leagues. Yeah. But I was like, man, I was trying to acquire him, and he gets hurt like in the second series and gets carted off, looks terrible, but he avoids the ACL tear. Now, he's probably going to be out a week or two. They haven't come out with the timetable yet, but he's still going to be able to play this year. So hang on to him. He is not a droppable guy.
He's probably going to add about 15 pounds, though. So,
Dang. Yeah, that's a thing. Lose some weight. It puts some relieve the tension on the knees. That's all I'm saying.
seriously. So I tweeted out about this week that I would take Blake Bortles over
Gosh, your
Jameis
Blake
Winston.
Bortles love is
Okay, man, you tell me right now that you're going to take Jameis Winston as your franchise quarterback over Blake Bortles. No thanks, man.
no, I'm not. I don't want to take an Uber with Jameis Winston, let
No.
alone him as my quarterback. Did you see what I did there? Did you see
Yeah,
what I did there?
was
I feel
really
pretty good about that.
Yeah, nice.
He groped that girl in the Uber ride, so I don't want to take Uber with him.
Allegedly.
Yeah, man, it's not like he has any kind of history whatsoever in this department, and he has
Right.
such a good head on his shoulder, and he always makes great decisions. So I would definitely give this guy the benefit of the doubt.
Absolutely.
It's been a rough Florida State day for you, man.
No, it really has. That's why I'm just kind of down about it. I'm not going to go there. How about some good news here? How about Greg Olsen?
Oh, I thought when you said good news, you were going to talk about Jake Cutler's concussion. But yeah, Greg Olsen, man, he's practicing. He is playing this week.
Woo!
And guess what? He is going to lead the team in targets. Either him. There's 3 targets in this entire offense, and it's Devin Funchess, Christian McCaffrey, and now Greg Olsen. And I think Olsen is going to be the guy. He's going to be their top receiver moving forward. Oh my gosh, if you listened to us and grabbed him a week or 2 ago, you are going to be so happy. He is going to win people championships.
Yep. Smart play. Got him in one of my leagues. Feeling real good about it.
Yeah, I mean, he's going to be a top 3 tight end rest of the season.
Off to some better news. Jay Cutler is concussed.
Man, it was weird. Like, you saw the play where he got the concussion. It just shows you concussions are very freaky. He didn't get hit hard at all. He got hit with a forearm to the side of the head. And I'm not trying to downplay the concussion. I'm just saying it was a weird play. But, again, Cutler's been terrible. Matt Moore, who should have been the quarterback the whole time, steps in and he throws the ball to Kenny Stills all the time. And so go get Kenny Stills. I told you to drop him. Jay Cutler throws it to Parker. Matt Moore throws it to Kenny Stills. It's just what it is. Yeah. And so, he came in and played great. I really wish that this organization would just give him a chance to play. Hopefully Cutler's out for a while, but I just want him to stay with Matt Moore. He's so much more fantasy relevant.
Can you think of a worse free agent signing than Jay Cutler this season?
They should have signed Kaepernick, man. That's what I'm saying.
Absolutely. And
on come the Twitter comments. Yeah, I'm so glad I made that. And my followers will go down, but my comments will go up. Awesome.
Deal with it, folks.
Yeah, I don't care about my followers.
Aaron Jones, who let me down last week, let himself down this week.
Ooh, I made a huge dynasty trade. I say huge. I traded Aaron Jones for Allen Robinson straight up in a dynasty league. I was running back heavy and needed wide receivers long term, and I love this deal now. So he gets injured. He's still out. He gets pulled over and admits to the cops. They asked him what's going on, if he's been drinking, and he said, I've been smoking weed. So he's going to be suspended on top of his injury. So basically any value that this kid had for this year is out the window, which was very small to say the least. And so what you got to do is, huge stock up to Jamal Williams. If you picked him up, we talked about him last week. He played pretty well, decent anyway, flex play. And he's going to be relevant the rest of the year now.
He played okay to me. Let me just say that because he had that first big gash for 30, 40 yards, but he only ended up with 57 yards. He ran into the back of his offensive lineman quite a bit, but that Baltimore defense is serious.
The Baltimore defense is top 3 in the NFL. And also having said that, you got to understand, Green Bay sucks. Their offense with this quarterback is atrocious.
Agreed.
But whenever you look at this, Jamal Williams got 18 carries and 6 targets in the passing game. That is, you can't ask. That's 24 touches. You are, I am super happy about this, and you got to stay with that. So now I will say this: the only fantasy relevant guy outside of Jamal is Devontae Adams. Holy cow!
Yeah,
10 targets, 8 catches, 126 yards. He has led the team in targets, receptions, and yardage every single game that Brett Hundley has been quarterback. So Jordy Nelson is almost droppable. Like, you can't start him.
No, you can't. What's he doing? And here's a question:
sucks.
how much longer for Ty Montgomery?
Man, he should be back next week. Should be back. But even if he is back, Ty Montgomery only had fantasy value catching the ball. And I don't think that he is going to be the primary ball carrier. I think they're going to run the ball with Jamal Williams, and Ty Montgomery will come in on third downs. So you're looking at Jamal Williams still getting more carries than Ty even when he comes back. So not that I'm excited to start Jamal Williams, but in a flex play, I'm okay. I'm okay with that.
What about a trade, a deep play trade for Ty Montgomery? Because Aaron Rodgers could make an appearance at the end. You don't think so?
No, dude, they're 5-5, and they just got shut out by a division rival. There's so many games back. Maybe if they're in playoff contention, maybe, but they're not going to be. They are not winning games.
If the Lions beat the Vikings this week, they have a shot, especially if they can pull a game out here.
You're right, but that's a good football team. I have a hard time seeing them saying, "All right, cool, yeah, let's move forward with this." I mean, they got Carolina. Oh, jeez, man, I don't know. At Detroit, they got at Detroit.
Ooh. Yeah, it's not looking good. Not looking good at all. All right, so next up, almost helping my bet, but not really. Offensive coordinator Mike McCoy fired. Last week we made a bet, and I'm feeling not great about it so far. The 4 coaches would be fired by week 17, and not happening so far. But
it's coming. Don't worry.
But here's the thing: Mike McCoy was our offensive coordinator. He was the Chargers. He's not bad. Was the issue him?
Twice in 1 year. Yeah. That offense is terrible. It's been terrible with 3 separate quarterbacks. They cannot run the ball. That's kind of the big issue there. Is they're not running the ball well. They're not getting the ball to Demaryius. And what I just heard, breaking news, they tried to trade Demaryius Thomas before the deadline, but they couldn't get any takers. He's got a pretty big contract. But, oh, my gosh, like, what the hell? He's only 28 years old, 28, 29 years old. Like, why would you try to get rid of this guy?
Yeah,
I don't understand it.
That's 3 years of prime still.
Yeah.
Moving on. Are you guys ready to win your league? Here we go. If these folks that we're about to mention are on the waiver wire, and you don't have an idiot league with an acquisition limit, anyways, then
there's a story behind that. Don't be in an acquisition league where they cap how many people you can add. You're just punishing the active owners and making it easier for the lazy, do-nothing people that don't do anything. You don't want to be in that league.
I reached 25 acquisitions like 3 weeks ago, okay? Jesus. Anyways, okay, sorry. On the waivers, man, I'm just going to start with this guy since I brought him up a little bit earlier. Case Keenum, he came to play for real.
This offense is legitimate, so you have to understand, like, yeah, you've got to value what he's done. He's put up 3 weeks in a row with over 20 points. That's what you want in a quarterback position. So you have to value this guy moving forward, especially with that offense. You got such a great offense and such a great defense where he's going to constantly get the opportunity. And with the receivers he has, he doesn't have to make difficult throws because he threw a 5-yard hitch route to Thielen, and he took it 70 yards to the house. Like, yeah. He's got a beast receiving core. Now, he does have some tough matchups moving forward. Carolina and, Chicago, that's week 17. But he's got a tough matchup coming up, not this week, so he's going to be all right this week. And here's the thing. You are now moving into the time of the year where there are no more buys. Thank God. So you are matchup, and you want to play people that won't cost you the game. So you want to be smart. And a guy that's gotten 20 points in a row every single week, let's say you had Alex Smith, and he's been great all year. Well, guess what?
Yeah.
He was freaking terrible. He played the worst defense in the entire NFL at giving up fantasy points, the New York Giants, and he laid an egg. Next week he's got Buffalo. Next week then after that, New York Jets. That's 2 tough defenses. Well, Buffalo maybe not so much anymore. But, man, if you're feeling shaky, look for validation. The thing is, you want to be on the positive side of a trend. You want to make sure that you don't jump into somebody that's already on a downward trend. You want to wait for them to prove that they can play well, Alex Smith, and then get them back in your starting lineup. Don't gamble with your starters.
Yep. Not now. Now's not the time to do that.
Oh, it's business, son.
And Case Keenum, he's tough, dude. He's got, what were the matchups that he had again?
So he's got, sorry, I just scrolled away. Case Keenum is sitting on, here we go. He's got Detroit and Atlanta. Those are his next two matchups.
And he's got to wake up to his wife every morning. So
oh gosh, that's a rough matchup.
That's a rough matchup.
I feel bad saying that, but I think she's probably got a good personality.
She does got a good personality. She's awesome. I'm just saying.
The other quarterback I would add, and again, it's Tyrod Taylor. They're supposed to announce tomorrow, so when you're putting your waivers in, he has the best matchups for the rest of the year, and it's not even close. Every matchup he has is almost a top 10 matchup except for one, and he put up 19 points and a half. Like, yeah, he had a bad game. He had one bad game, but he's a stud out there. So those are my quarterback pickups.
His toughest matchup was his head coach. And I love you, Sean McDermott, but you screwed up, buddy. You screwed up. All right, so we already went over Samaje Perine.
Yeah, get him big time. Eckler's not a bad in a PPR format. Go grab that guy. Shoot Chris Ivory and TJ Yeldon. Something is wrong with Leonard Fournette. And he was hobbling the whole game, and he tried to fight through it, but you could see him bouncing on the sidelines at the end of the game, and he was limping. If he is out, those guys are automatic plays. What do you think about Corey Clement?
Oh, he's tough, man. Here's the deal. Corey Clement is like a Patriots running back field, and a Patriots running back field is like playing Fantasy Kings.
You want guaranteed workload.
Right.
You can't, as long as they're getting the work, you have the opportunity for success. But guessing who's going to be the guy, man, it's going to hurt you bad. So you've got to get those guys that have the volume, and that's what's key. Which moves on to the receiving position. Kenny Stills and Josh Doxson. Go get both of them. Doxson was relied on heavily in the first half, and I think he's going to be the number one guy moving forward for Washington. Kenny Stills, I talked about everything that with Matt Moore. He loves to throw that guy. Now, tight end, man, there's two young, promising rookie tight ends out there, and they're not necessarily who we thought. Ricky Seals-Jones is a fantasy viable, possibly tight end. Now, I would pick him up on my waivers, and do not start him this week. You are just going to park him on your bench and see if he continues what happened. Because obviously he's a receiving guy and dominated, and then, of course, O.J. Howard. It seems like Ryan Fitzpatrick loves him and hates Cameron Brate. So drop Cameron Brate and go get O.J. Howard.
Yeah, that's frustrating because Brate had such a solid trend for a while. No longer.
Yeah, it's so over. It is over.
Got a question for you. You ready for it?
Let's do it.
Ingram or Kamara?
Oh, I would say completely based on format. If half-point PPR or full-point PPR, I'm going Kamara. I mean, he is, dude, you could say maybe top 3, maybe number 1 fantasy running back moving forward. Listen to these point totals in a half-point PPR. 31 points, 24 points, 25 points. That's his last 3 weeks.
Wow.
Now let's jump to Ingram. 9 points, 31 points, 24 points. So you're talking they're top 3 this week. The same backfield. It makes no sense. But man, that was the game of the week too. That they were down 16 points in the fourth quarter and came back and won. It was unreal. Such a great game.
Shout out to the Redskins for actually being a legit team who's just they're not good enough, unfortunately, but they're good.
And it has nothing to do with that quarterback, man. Kirk Cousins is playing MVP freaking football right now, and he's losing games because of his supporting cast.
And that pass rush.
Yeah.
They're fantastic. Yeah. All right, so quick question. How much fantasy stock up is Steeler players, and how much fantasy down are Rams players?
So the Steelers, and this is who they've always been. They play really well at home. They suck on the road. And primetime games are must starts. Big Ben, if you ever pay attention to the offseason or him in a bathroom, the attention has to be on him. That was a Ray Lewis Award winner joke. But the idea is very, very simple. Like, he shows out when people are watching. And so it was a late primetime game. So whenever those situations happen, you got to play this guy. So where is he playing this week? Guess what? At home in the primetime game, Sunday night, game of the week. So absolutely this week, every single Steeler. I don't care who they are. Martavis Bryant, I'm saying to start. Start every single person, and they're playing Green Bay, who has been terrible. So as far as this week goes, yes. Is he a consistent fantasy option? No.
Nope. All right, so here comes something that's kind of difficult and really does mess up not amateur players, but even kind of like seasoned guys who maybe been into fantasy football just a few years. They don't know how to take this Thanksgiving transition. It messes them up.
So first things first, start your studs, your key players, stay with them, okay, no matter what. So your A.J. Greens, Adam Thielen, I'm going to throw in there. He plays Thursday night. You're starting that guy no matter what. Kirk Cousins, you're starting him no matter what. So we have 3 games Thursday during Thanksgiving, and this is key because what happens is if you look at any Thursday and all their trajectories, the offensive output usually goes down. Now, what you want to do is you want to focus on defenses. So any defenses that you have playing Thursday night, you give them a huge bump because the players are tired. They don't have as much time to game plan on offense, and it totally shows out. So make sure you get your waiver wires in early and you set your lineup. And probably the most important part, if you have anybody playing Thursday, move them out of your flex spot. Okay, so like let's say, for instance, you have Le'Veon Bell and let's say you got Latavius Murray. Those are your 2 running backs, and you got Latavius Murray in your flex spot. Well, he plays Thursday. So what you want to do is you want to move Latavius into your starting running back slot and move Le'Veon Bell into your flex spot. Now, here's why you want to do that. Let's just say Le'Veon Bell gets excited and goes off smoking weed and gets caught again. Wouldn't be the first time, wouldn't be the second time, wouldn't be the third time. Well, now you can – it's just an extreme situation, but if you keep your flex spot in on Thursday and he plays, then it's locked. So just kind of keep that in mind. It's a small thing, but it makes a big difference. I've won a game because of it one time, whereas I would have lost in the past. So just little bitty things like that. Just constantly keep your options open.
Can I talk about somebody I like for the Thanksgiving day? And that is Keenan Allen. I think he's going to have a day. And let me just say, I know the Cowboys just took a major loss. If you're a Cowboys fan, let me give you the one compliment that you're going to get. That's it. Byron Jones is the reason that Ertz had a bad game, folks. And I was gonna be quiet about it, okay? But here's the deal: they manned him up on Ertz, and Ertz had a tough night. But I do not, and they played a ton of cover 1, and they were out with Heath, so they struggled a bit. I don't think that cover 1 and that man defense that they've transitioned to a little bit more lately, that's not going to hold up against Philip Rivers and the boys. So I could see them having a game against that cover 1 stuff.
Man, I love the way Philip Rivers played that game. And, dude, if you look at the stat sheet for Keenan Allen, 13 targets, which is nuts. He caught 12 of 13, 159 yards and 2 touchdowns. Keenan Allen, if this trajectory continues, oh my gosh. I don't think it will, but, I mean, definitely wide receiver 1 potential week in and week out just because of the heavy volume. Standardly, not so much. Both of his touchdowns came off of dropped freaking Hunter Henry non-catches. Like, perfect passes and great coverage. Hunter Henry's not running away from anybody, but he's that big body. And he just didn't come through with the touchdown on either one. And so people were talking trash on Hunter Henry, and it's just like, man, like he comes up with one or both those catches, he's the play of the week. So Don't give up on Hunter Henry. He's still getting all the workload. Just, man, wish he would have came up with one of those.
Right. All right, on to our last segment, game of the week. In the game we chose – yeah, I worked on it. The game we chose is the Saints versus the Rams.
Jeez, man. Who would have guessed that these two teams would be where they are right now?
Not us.
Gosh, man. So both of them are in first place in their respective divisions. The Rams are 7-3, and New Orleans is 8-2. Jesus, man. New Orleans lost their first two games and then won 8 straight. And they won 2 crazy games where they came back from huge deficits. This is going to be an absolute blast. The Saints defense is legit. Now, they have the number 1 corner in the league, Marshawn Lattimore, the rookie draft pick. Guy, he's amazing. I love that kid. But he got hurt. He hurt his ankle, and he missed the rest of the game. And we're not sure if he's going to be able to play yet or not. I think he will. But if he is out, that is absolutely huge because he's the cornerstone of that defense, even as a rookie. Like, he's playing defensive player of the year caliber football. So, man, I hope this game is much more exciting than the Vikings and Rams were. And so I think it's going to be good. I really, really do. I'm talking over 60 points on the over and, man, just fantasy value everywhere.
And the thing is, it's more information about what's going to happen in the playoffs. And the Rams have it tough. So they got the Saints. I think the next week they have the Eagles, or at least the following week after that. I mean, they've got a battering ram, see what I just did there, of a schedule. So
I see that.
It's going to be interesting. I think they're going to probably crawl in, obviously, to the playoffs. Who else is
they're in the playoffs. Yeah, they're going to be – how can they not be?
No, I mean, they should be in. They'll be fine. I mean, if Seattle pulls this game out, that'll definitely make it interesting because then they'll be both tied at 7-3.
That makes me feel gross. Ugh.
Well, you said how can they not be? Let me just pitch this to you. If Seattle wins here, okay, they're tied. Behind LA at that point, and LA would slip to the 6th spot, not the 4th. You got the Rams on their tails. Then you got the Atlanta, who would be 6-4.
Well, not if they lose. So if Seattle wins, then Atlanta loses.
True.
And so that would put a 3-way tie. No, it'd be a 2-way. They'd still be in, but yeah. I mean, you've got Detroit, you've got Carolina, the Cowboys. They're done, right? Like you agree, the Cowboys are done.
Yeah, they're done.
So yeah, you got about 9 teams fighting for those 6 spots, but the Rams are a better team. They're still the number 1 offense in the entire NFL. And on top of that, their defense is legit. Now, obviously, we didn't see that last week. But, again, they're playing Arizona still and San Francisco still. They've got a weak schedule. The Rams are in. You want to make a bet? The Rams are in.
Ooh, a bet?
Do you want to make a bet on this?
You know what? I'm not going to say they're not going to be in.
I'm saying the Rams are in the playoffs. If you would like to take the under on that and say they miss it, I'll take Jared Goff. I believe in that kid.
Fudge me to Dern.
You don't want to do it.
I don't want to do it, do I?
No.
Wait. Let me just look at this. So they got the Saints. Then they're at the Cardinals. Then they got Philly. Then they got Seattle. Then they've got 2 cupcake games against the Titans and San Francisco 49ers. Boom. Let's see. I could see them sliding.
Come on, baby. Let's make this bet. Let's make this bet.
All right, I'm going to call the Rams out of the playoffs.
Holy cow. Go. You are insane. So you're saying the Rams will not make the playoffs. Oh!
Rams out, and not that this has to be part of the bet, but I think the Lions can do it. I think they got the defense,
I think so too.
And they've got the QB to make it happen. Okay, so here we go. The Rams just go on an epic slide, 4-game slide here, and then they go to 7-6, and then nobody's.
Okay. I think that this is wonderful, and so here is. Oh man, do you know what a prairie fire is?
What?
Sorry, I used to bartend. So what you have to do is the loser. We'll just do 2. Okay. 2 standard size shots of a prairie fire shot. And what this is the cheapest tequila you can find with 4 splashes of Tabasco sauce. Oh. And this totally burns on burns on burns. Okay. And so we'll do 2 full shots of prairie fire online.
Why haven't we done alcohol before? Why have we done Poetry slams.
We're in the middle school stage. We're about to hit our frat stage, and so we're getting there.
All right, yeah. Our next bet will include truth or dare. So,
have you ever?
Yeah, exactly. All right, man. I'm liking this bet. I have a feeling just in my gut that the old Rams might appear. So if that's
you want to up that to 3 shots then?
No, just two's good. Two's good. I get mean with tequila. So let's
man, you live in another state, so I'm okay. Bethany,
right.
hopefully she'll be okay as well.
Should be good. I'm not Jameis Winston or anything.
Oh,
all right. Well, man, fly, Eagles, fly. And this has been Fantasy Football with a question mark. And on
Number
Twitter,
22.
At host Chuck B. And then J_L Chapman.
That's not what it is, but that's okay. I don't even want to correct you. I'm fine.
No, do it.
This is Follow Charles Barr.
JL
and I am stopping
Chapman.
the podcast so nobody can hear that. And peace out.